Cannabis contains substances, cannabinoids, which are similar to the substances our own bodies produce and use to adjust our health. If you can wash the cannabinoids off the cannabis into an oil, you can influence your health. And that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how you can get by with just 5 grams of cannabis. If you're smart about it, we have 2 devices for that, and we call it the cannulator. This is a plastic one that can be taken apart, and then you have a handful of parts. And this is a more serious device, which is metal, aluminum, and glass. In this, you can flush 30 grams of cannabis at a time, and in here, 5 grams. And I'm going to show you how, with flushing 5 grams and the proper handling, you're happy for the rest of your life. This baby bottle warmer is best turned on already, and you have to fill it with a little bit of water so that later on, as it's called in a bain-marie, evaporate the alcohol. Second thing is we're going to put the cannulator above it already, and above the cannulator is a little plastic tube. We're going to fill that now. And as you might see, at the bottom of the plastic tube is a tiny little hole, and that's where the alcohol is going to run out into the evaporating glass that we put in the cannulator. We fill the tube, press it a little bit, not too hard. And then that goes into the holder. Well, that's it. 95% alcohol is very clean. And what that alcohol does, it dissolves the cannabinoids that are on the cannabis in seconds. It runs into the bottom of the glass. We heat it up in the baby bottle warmer. The alcohol evaporates. And we have the pure THC oil or CBD oil, depending on the plant you used, left in the glass. That's basically everything. Actually, you guys can handle it further on your own now, right? Anyway, let me show you. This may take half an hour. In that time, you can have a cup of coffee, do something else, whatever, just let it go on and on. To help the evaporation process a little bit, we have a very small air pump here, electronic air pump as it's called. And that means it's almost silent, and that's kind of important because that noise at a certain point you get a little crazy. This air pump pumps some air into the glass, and therefore the evaporation goes faster. Half an hour, 3/4 of an hour later, when all the bubbles have disappeared and the oil is completely smooth, the oil is ready. Then it is also decarboxylated, as it is called. If you want to know, here it comes. There are 3 kinds of bubbles. The first bubbles you see are big, and they bubble violently, and that's the alcohol evaporating because it is heated, and alcohol evaporates as early as 78 degrees. After that, you'll see some smaller bubbles, rather still big, but a little smaller, and that's just water. Because the alcohol we use is 95%, that means there's 5% water in there. And when that 95% alcohol is evaporated, after that it's time for the water to evaporate. Well, and when that process is over, then very small bubbles form in the oil, and they have to do with decarboxylation. And decarboxylation means that you evaporated the alcohol, you evaporated the water, and then you start to convert the THCA into active THC. And that happens with very small bubbles. And when those little bubbles stop appearing too, then you can be sure that your oil is ready. You can take a look here, and you can see what's down there. That's the resin that was on the cannabis, which we first dissolved with alcohol. Then we evaporated the alcohol and the pure resin remains. I have a 5 milliliter bottle here filled with clean olive oil, and we're going to throw that in. 5 milliliters is enough. And I'm going to explain to you that this will actually last you the rest of your life. We just heat it up in the baby bottle warmer, and when it's warm enough, you can go on to the next stage. like this. We put it back in the bottle. The bottle's not quite full. There's about 50 drops here, but we'll deal with that. And now comes the trick. This is what we call the mother bottle, and that mother bottle contains really only THC. And this is the amount of THC that's in 5 grams of cannabis. This you have to calculate is about 50 drops. And 50 drops. With that, you can activate CBD bottles many, many, many times over, make it more active than it already was. And I'm going to show you, I have a bottle of CBD Max from our own company, CBD Shop. And what do? We put 1 drop, just 1, in the mother bottle that you can keep in one of those little tubes in the freezer. Every morning, lick 1 drop of that miracle oil on your hand. Ready? It's best done right after brushing your teeth. You absolutely do not get stoned because the THC, that 1 drop that you put in, was already diluted 10 times. And now it's going to be diluted another 500 times, so it's diluted 5,000 times. So you notice absolutely nothing in your head. You don't get high at all. But the CBD that you dilute with it becomes many, 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 many times more effective. Even so effective that if you take 1 drop of this in the morning, you can benefit from that all day long and in all sorts of ways. For me, it works very well against neuropathic pain, for example. 1 drop in the morning and I have no pain all day, 24 hours. Look, you can write on this and you do that with a felt tip pen, and then you put a line above it as well. And on top you put a dot. And then you can always see that this is a bottle in which you have put some THC. And if you have to screw off the caps and put them back on again, then you can always tell if you put the right cap on the right bottle, because those lines have to be right on top of each other. Very simple trick. I have now told you the secret of Wernard's Miracle Weed Oil, and I hope you will benefit from it. Good luck with it.